Students, all of you listen carefully. I am reading new paragraph. Making a socialist society. During the Civil War, the Bolsheviks kept industries and banks nationalized. Now, Bolsheviks started industries and banks to nationalize. They permitted peasants. Now, peasants, farmers, they were allowed to cultivate the land that had been socialized. The land which was socialized, now that land was handed over to the peasant, poor peasant. Now on that land, poor peasants, now they started to cultivate. Bolsheviks used a confiscated, now underline confiscated means captured, controlled land. Now they started to control, capture nobility's land. To demonstrate, they wanted to show that what collective work could be. A process of centralized planning was introduced. Now, centralized planning. Now they started to nationalize banks as well as the industries also, and land had been socialized also. Now, planning was introduced. Centralized planning also introduced by Bolshevik officials. Assessed. Now here underline assessed. Assessed means to show, or we can say the determined, imposed. Officials assessed how the economy could work and set targets for a 5-year period. Now economy, how the economy could work. Now the officials, government officers, now they started to work out to show that the economy, how the economy could work, as well as they set up targets for 5-year period. 5-year planning was introduced. On this basis, they made the 5-year plans. The government fixed all prices to promote industrial growth during the first 2 plans. Now, to encourage industrial development, so government fixed all prices when during the first 2 plans. 1927, 1932 and 1933, 1938. Centralized planning led to economic growth because of the centralized planning. Now you can see the growth, economic growth in Russia during this period. The period of you can see the first 2 plants during that time. Industrial production increased between 1929 and 1933 by 100% in the case of oil, coal and steel. So you can see the effect. Industrial production increased, developed, especially in the case of oil, coal and steel production. New factory cities came into being. New factory also set up and established. New city emerged also. However, rapid construction led to poor working conditions. So work was how was the work? Very rapid, quick work was going on. So it led to poor working conditions also. In the city, now here underline the name of the city, Magnitogorsk. The construction of steel plant was achieved in 3 years. Now in the 3 years, the construction was completed. Workers lived hard lives, and the result was 550 stoppages of work in the first year alone. So the people, because of the they were living very hard life, so they stopped the work also in the first year alone. In living quarters in the winter time, now by this line you can understand how the workers, they were living hard life. So in the living quarters, worker quarters in the winter time, at 40 degrees below, people had to climb down from the 4th floor. Now they had to come down from the 4th floor and dash across. They had to cross the street also in order to go to the toilet. An extended schooling system developed. Now the Bolshevik now they started to develop the schooling system also, and arrangements were made for factory workers and peasants to enter universities. Crashes, and underline crashes. Crashes means a day nursery. were established in factories for the children of women workers, for the women workers, for their children's, we can say, for women's workers children. Now day nurseries also established in factories. Cheap public health care was provided. Model living quarters were set up for workers. The effect of all this was uneven. Uneven means the effect of all this not equally. Though since government resources were limited because of the why the development and effect was not equal everywhere, because of the government resources were limited resources. Now students, here you can see the pictures. Now this paragraph we'll read in next clip.